Hello and welcome to the Visual Black Nerd Show, and today we're going to talk about Adam Brashear, also known as the Blue Marvel, how we can bring him into the MCU and get him some love there. And we're going to talk about it right about now.
OBN, OBN, original black nerd, OBN, original black nerd, OBN, original black nerd, everything discussed about dramas is that nerd, OBN, original black nerd, OBN, original.
Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, is an OP character. This boy got powers. So, I'm just always perplexed by his non-appearances. I don't understand why Marvel doesn't use his character. I mean, he was banished to an alternate universe where Doctor Doom is actually loved and respected, but the real Doctor Doom has to kill him. Okay, he comes back from that and we don't hear from him anymore. No King in Black. 100 tie-ins. No Blue Marvel. When the Black Panther called in every black superhero in Marvel Comics, no Blue Marvel. So, I'm always perplexed by he never gets any love in the comic books. But, he could get love in the MCU. And this is my fantasy on how Blue Marvel, Adam Brashear, would get introduced into the MCU. Now, a caveat to this, he is also going to be coming along with a reintroduction of T'Challa, the Black Panther, because I'm in the hashtag recast T'Challa camp. So I believe he needs to come back. But with that being said, let me break this down for you on this. Alright, so let's just say that he's been lost in the negative zone. Because, of course, he's made up of antimatter. So he gets lost in the negative zone through some battle that happened way back in the 60s before nobody knew about this. So it's different than the quantum zone, but it's the same property. So when the snap happened, he was okay, so that didn't affect him. So, now, in the comic books, Reed Richards discovers the negative zone. So he can do the same thing when he, after Fantastic Four, he comes across the negative zone. Or they could have been trapped in the negative zone, and that's how they got back into regular Prime Earth. And when they got back to 616, of course, it's years later, but of course they don't age, so they come out of the negative zone and they trying to figure their way back into the negative zone. Okay, because they can't figure out how they quite got out. So, T'Challa is also trapped in the negative zone due to the Wakandan discovery of the negative zone, but not understanding it, and that caused him to, explore, because he's an explorer, which ties into What If show that just came out. And he wants to explore. He goes in, he gets trapped in the negative zone, but he's protected by his Wakandan technology, spaceship. But at this point, he comes across Adam Brashear. Now, Adam has already set up his own little environment so the child can move around without any kind of life support in the negative zone because of he has it all set. It's kind of like he has it set up in this trench in the Mariana Trench, and way to find out as Reed is finding a way to get back in. And of course, this gets set up a classic Fantastic Four Black Panther meeting, and shout out, of course, to Fantastic Four 52. So it could be that kind of fun throwback. So, but when they come back, T'Challa returns in the ship. Blue Marvel flies in like he does because he can fly. And so when it comes in, it sets off to all types of alarms at the Sword Station. So when it sets off these alarms at the Sword Station, Nick Fury dispatches Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and America Chavez to investigate. Okay, those who know the comic books know where I'm going on this. So, in Black Panther 3, with T'Challa returns, hashtag recast T'Challa, and he comes along with Blue Marvel, but he also has to deal with Blue Marvel's antimatter counterpart, the one that he has to fight with in the comic books. So he also comes back into 616. So they got to fight him against antimatter with the help of Reed Richards, and Namor still is in his feelings because I would like in Black Panther 2 that Namor throws the attack on Wakanda, and then Shuri, calls in the White Wolf and there McCoy, the Dory, they go in and they waste the Atlantis like they do in the comic books, and then that's still some bad feelings, so they still got to deal with that when he comes back. And so he got that going on. He's got this thing going on with the antimatter man coming in, so they doing battles. So when that battle finishes, he realizes that Wakanda can do all right without him. Shuri has stepped up, Okoye, whoever else they done brought in. They've stepped up and shown that they can run Wakanda, and they're kept alive through the Disney Plus shows. Okay, and he goes up and he forms the Ultimates, which includes himself, Adam Brashear, Monica Rambeau, Carol Danvers, and America Chavez, straight from the comic books. So they go out to explore, which was the charge of the Ultimates in the comic books. They're going out to explore, and they end up dealing with some different battles. They don't have to bring the Thanos thing back in. They can go to something different because that's what happens in the comic books. But then when they go up, after they do their battles and their exploration, Disney Plus is keeping Wakanda Prime alive through its shows, and then in the fifth iteration of Black Panthers, the Ultimates come back because in their searches and in their travels, especially with America Chavez, we can work, and so we can do some different things. And MCU is going cosmic as part of one of his phases is going anyway. So when they get there, they come across the Intergalactic Empire Wakanda, who of course is being headed up by the symbiote Killmonger and Jaka. So they come back to 616, but here comes Killmonger rolling back in behind them, and Jaka rolling back in behind them, and they have to do another epic battle in Black Panther 6, which would be, literally the end of it. Of the Black Panther run, 6 movies would be a lot. The battle against the Intergalactic Empire, and of course we can go right down to the Ta-Nehisi Coates ending, where that you bring in all of the black superheroes. Now I was a fan of Wakanda going to space, so that's a disclaimer because a lot of people didn't like it, but I was a fan of it, and I think that it was only a natural progression for them to go to space after everything they had done on Earth, so they had to expand. So that would have been natural. But people don't like it. People didn't like Ta-Nehisi Coates writing, whatever. But I like the concept of going to Intergalactic Empire. So that comes back now because the symbiotes will already be introduced into the MCU by this time. This fits right in with that. So he comes back, and of course he's got to do battle with them. at the end of the and part of doing battle with Killmonger, of course, you're going to need some thunder and lightning. So, of course, this is when he connects with Storm for the first time. And, you know, at the end of the battle, you know, they have a connection. You know, Michael Chavez goes off and rejoins the Young Avengers, or she can go to what I believe the next phase would be, of course, bringing Ms. Marvel, Miles Morales, Riri Williams, bringing in Vision, which of course brings back Vision. Then you have Amadeus Cho, who probably will come in through the She-Hulk series. So you have all the pieces for the champion. So that could be next, you know. Blue Marvel, Adam Bashir, and Monica head off to do their own thing, you know, and Carol goes and does her own thing. So that could be, you know, how we move on to whatever phase we would be in Marvel. And that is my dream of what would happen in the world if I were able to influence what was going on at Marvel, which I don't. But that's a dream anyway. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. And make sure you check out obncollection.org to see what my collection looks like. And I hope to see you the next time. And I'm out of here. Peace.
OBN. OBN. Original Black Nerd.